This is Smart Consulting Sourcing, the only podcast about consulting procurement or how to buy consulting services. You'll get tips on how to use consulting, buy consulting, and managing the consulting. And now your host, Ellen Lafitte.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Smart Consulting Sourcing, where we dive deep into the world of consulting procurement. I'm your host, Ellen, and today we continue our exploration of how to buy consulting services like a pro by focusing on the crucial step of analyzing proposals. Last time, we discussed the vital role of procurement leaders as facilitator, umpires, and guardians of compliance and transparency in assessing proposals. Clients may have a discerning taste, but they might not possess the expertise of consulting connoisseurs. That's where procurement leaders step in to guide the process. Imagine a funnel brimming with proposals during the pre-pitch analysis. Among them, we have the crème de la crème, those that check all the boxes outlined in the RFP. On the other hand, there are fixers, uppers, proposals with potential despite minor missteps. Don't be too quick to dismiss those diamonds in the row. Thorough proposal analysis is the key to separating the A players from the C players. Remember, the cream always rises to the top. Now it's time to assemble your dream team of proposal evaluators, bringing your procurement professionals, your budget owners, main stakeholders, and seasoned senior executive with consulting experience. You should tailor the team size to match the project's strategic dimension. Keep it lean and mean for smaller endeavors and opt for a larger team for complex projects. And by involving a diverse range of stakeholders, you ensure a fair evaluation process and maximize the chances of selecting the best proposal. Additionally, it's crucial to ensure that everyone on the evaluation team is on the same page. The winning proposal must align with your project's objectives, reinforce the overall purpose, and be a good fit for your corporate culture. Consider innovative or reliable approaches based on the specific context of your project. Evaluate proposals through various lenses, focusing on problem resolution, clarity, consistency, and ease of implementation, and look for those wow factors that make you exclaim, "This is brilliant." Keep in mind that the goal of this analysis is twofold: ranking the proposals to create a shortlist and preparing for the pitch sessions, and final evaluation. And by carefully considering each proposal's strengths and weaknesses, you'll be well equipped to make informed decisions and select the most suitable consultants for your project. So if you missed our previous episode, worry not, we've got you covered no matter your preferred listening platform, whether you are a Spotify superstar, an iTunes enthusiast, or a YouTube junkie. You can find our episode there to cater you to your listening needs. But hey, we know that not everyone is all about audio. For those of you who prefer the good old-fashioned written word, we've got you covered too. Head to Consulting Quest and visit the Thought Leadership section, where you'll find the full transcript of our episode. So take your time and don't forget to share it with your friends and colleagues. Now, let's jump right into today's topic, analyzing proposals to identify the most promising ones. Remember that funnel analogy I mentioned earlier? So we're looking for the crème de la crème, the proposals that truly meet your needs in terms of approach, deliverables, team composition, experience, and everything else. These are the proposals that deserve a closer examination, earning their place on your shortlist and securing an invitation for the consultants to showcase their expertise. But what precisely defines a promising proposal? So let's kick off with our first question. Did the consultant truly get a grasp of your objective? You're bringing in a consultant to help you achieve your goals. So it's crucial that they understand what you're aiming for and can assist you in identifying and implementing the best solutions. Now, here's the thing. Has the solution done the homework and properly researched your company's context? If a proposal lacks detailed information about your needs, it's a clear indicator that they may not have taken the time to truly understand your business. And we can't settle for that. you need to be uncompromising on this point. Moving on. Did the consultant go beyond a simple copy-paste of your RFP and actually reformulate your needs to fit the context? We don't want a regurgitated version of your own requirements. We want a consultant who brings fresh insights and value to the table. So it's time to challenge them to ensure that they're not just ticking boxes. Here is an interesting scenario to watch out for. Is the proposal introducing elements that seem completely unrelated to your needs? There could be a couple of reasons for this. First, you might be facing a classic case of the cookie cutter syndrome, where the consultant lazily copies and pastes from a previous proposal. But there's a plot twist. They might have identified an objective that you missed in your RFP. Either way, it's important to grill the consultant and make sure that the proposed approach and objective are a perfect fit for your company. After all, you should only be buying what you actually need, no more, no less. Now that you've ensured the consultants understand your objectives, it's time to dig into the heart of the proposals, those deliverables that will truly address your questions. This is where things get exciting, So let's dive right in. First off, take a good look. Are the expected deliverables clearly listed in the proposal? Here's the thing. Consulting firms, even with the same detailed RFP, might propose different organizations of their deliverable based on their internal methodologies and expertise. So it's crucial to make sure that they've covered all the key points of the scope and compare their proposal with the core of your initial requirement. Now it's time to revisit your RFP, identify all the expected deliverables and go through them one by one, checking if they are included in the proposal. Keep an eye out for anything that might fall outside the scope. Sometimes consultants take the initiative to reorganize and regroup the deliverable. So just make sure that all your original deliverables are still present and accounted for. And there's an interesting twist here too. Do you spot any additional deliverables that the consultants have included, ones that weren't originally listed in the RFP? So take a closer look and consider how they relate to your main objective. It could be an intriguing addition that brings value, or it might be just a way for the consultant to expand the scope and the price. So evaluate whether these additional deliverables are must-haves or nice-to-haves to your project. Ultimately, ask yourself this. Do you believe this deliverable will genuinely help you achieve your objective? That's the crux of the matter. If you have any doubts, don't hesitate to engage in a discussion with them and hear their thoughts on the matter. And one more thing, make sure the deliverables are clear enough. Do you have a solid understanding of what you will receive at the end of the project? The consultant should articulate the deliverables clearly and ideally provide example or visual representation to give you a tangible sense of what to expect. Now let's shift our focus on how the consulting firm proposes to deliver the project. That is where the rubber meets the road, so pay close attention. First and foremost, evaluate the approach proposed by the consulting firm. Does it align with what you had in mind? Does it make sense in the context of your needs? Consider the potential limitation of the approach suggested by the consultant and assess whether it will facilitate proper buy-in from the stakeholders involved, Next, consider the timeline. Does it match your internal objective? If not, is it a major issue? Has the consultant provided an explanation for any deviations from the original timeline? So take a closer look at the phasing proposed by the consulting firm. Does it align with any phasing you included in your RFP, if applicable? Consultants often divide project into multiple phases. So when comparing different proposals, ensure that each phase contains the same scope of work and deliverables overall. It's not uncommon for a consulting firm to descope or underprice the first phase to win the project and then generate higher costs in subsequent phases. So to mitigate this, consider including phasing in your RFP and committing only to the first phase for very large projects. This approach will incentivize the winning consultant to deliver quality work and provide competitive pricing at each subsequent phase. You can also request an unbinding estimate for the next phases, including the price and the description of the work. This will give you a sense of the potential overall cost of your project. Now, don't overlook the governance of the project. Sometimes differences in price between proposals can stem from variations in responsibilities and workload between the consultants and your internal team. How will the project be governed? How will it be managed at the steering level and at the working level? Understand the support and involvement expected from your teams at each step of the project. Ensure that the content of the proposal is clear and transparent. It may seem obvious, but you need to fully understand the details of the work to be done, who is responsible for each task, and how it will be executed. So beware of overly brief proposals that lack sufficient detail. We've seen consultant firms submit one-page proposals with minimal information about how the project will be led. So combine that with an unusual low price, and you've got a potential trap waiting to ensnare you. Consider the staffing associated with a project. Does it seem sufficient for the workload? Conversely, does the team appear to be oversized? Consultants often provide an estimation of the client's expected workload. Assess whether you and your team will have enough availability to support the project effectively. Finally, consider the on-site versus off-site balance. Are you expecting the consultants to be physically present at your location? Or is remote work acceptable? Ensure that the proposal aligns with your expectation in this regard. And there you have it. We delve into the core of analyzing proposal. And now it's time to distill the golden nuggets of wisdom from today's episode. So here are the key takeaways to engrave in your minds. Remember, you're not seeking the most brilliant or the cheapest proposal. Instead, focus on finding the proposal that will truly address your needs and deliver the desired outcomes. Approach the evaluation process with a clear understanding of your objective and expectations. This will guide you in assessing whether the proposals align with your goals. Ensure that the expected deliverables are clearly listed in each proposal. Compare them to your original requirements and check if any additional deliverables are relevant or simply nice to have. Pay attention to the proposed approach for executing the project. Evaluate whether it makes sense, is adapted to your needs, and addresses any potential limitations. Consider if the timeline matches your internal objectives and if any deviations are adequately explained. Scrutinize the phasing proposed by the consulting firm. Ensure that each phase contains the same work and deliverables as outlined in your initial requirements. Consider including phasing and committing only to the first phase for a large project to incentivize quality work and competitive pricing. And finally, don't overlook the governance of the project. Understand how the project will be managed at both the steering and working level, and clarify the support needed from your internal teams throughout the process. You need to see clarity and transparency in the content of the proposals and make sure you fully comprehend the details of the work, who will be responsible for each task, and how it will be executed. So beware of overly brief proposal lacking sufficient information. Now consider the workload associated with a project and evaluate it if the proposed staffing is sufficient or oversized. Assess whether your team will have enough availability to support that project effectively, and keep an eye on the on-site versus off-site balance. You need to ensure that the proposal aligns with your expectation regarding the consultant physical presence or remote work. Well, folks, we'll reach the end of today's episode, but the adventure is far from over. In fact, we're just getting started, and there's so much more in store for next week. So what can we expect in our upcoming episode? So next week, we have an exciting episode in store for you as we delve into the remaining critical aspects of analyzing proposal in the realm of consulting procurement. We'll be exploring the essential elements of team expertise, fit, and of course, budget considerations. But that's not all. I'll also be sharing some invaluable tips and techniques to help you start grading this proposal. This will set you up for success as you prepare for the highly anticipated pitching sessions, where the consultants will have their chance to shine and showcase their capabilities. So mark your calendars and be just sure to join us next week as we continue our journey through the captivating realm of analyzing proposal. Till then, stay safe and happy sourcing. And if you have any questions regarding today's topic or any consulting procurement related topic, actually, remember you can always contact me directly on LinkedIn or by email because I'm always game for a chat. Bye and see you next week. Au revoir.
You've been listening to Smart Consulting Sourcing, the only podcast about consulting procurement. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, hit the website at consultingquest.com. Find us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. For questions and comments, send an email to ellen.lafitte@consultingquest.com. See you next time.